memory. Or I forgot, my memory is slipping. In other words, some things I don't remember. Remember.
Remember, don't forget.
Don't forget.
Don't forget my birthday.
Remember, keep it in your mind so that you can remember everything that you need to know, that it's in your mind. Oh, I remember that. I remember when we went there. That was a beautiful trip and a beautiful place. I remember that very well. Recall is the same idea. To bring back to your mind something from the past. Oh, I recall when I visited there, that was really a beautiful place. I recall. I recall, I remember. I remember your name. I remember your address. I remember your telephone number. Remember, recall. Remind. What is remind?
Emphasize. Emphasize.
Emphasize.
Nhấn mạnh.
Remind is to tell a person not to forget something. Let me remind you, you have to be at the airport at 8 o'clock. I'm just reminding you. I'm not giving you news that you never heard before. I'm reminding you that 4 hours ago, you said you would leave for the airport at 8 o'clock. Now it's 8:05, you're still here. I'm just reminding you, you said it, you had to leave at 8 o'clock. Remind. I'm reminding somebody. You remind me of that person that I met last week or something like that. Remind. Mind your business. What is mind your business? Just mind your business. Please mind your business.
Mind your business.
Yeah, don't interfere with me. Mind your own business. Yeah, right. Don't worry about me. You mind your own business. In other words, you take care of what you're doing, I'll take care of what I'm doing. Don't interfere, just mind your own business. But there are many ways. Remind, to send something, oh, that reminds me, I've got to go to the airport at 8 o'clock. I just saw an airplane landing in the movie, and I've got to be at the air. That reminds me. Oh, I recall that day, a year ago, when that happened. Remember, don't forget.
Don't forget.
Remember, it's time to go, or something like that. And she has a very good memory. Remembers everything. So, if you look up in the dictionary or something, you'll see that there's many, many ways that words like memorize, remind, recall, remember, memory. And slang words that come out of it too, many, many different ways. Mind your own business. You mind if I go? Do I mind if you go? No, I don't mind if you go, go. Mind, remember, it's all how it's used. Could be one of 100 ways. Remind me, don't let me forget. Don't let me forget, remind me. Well, I can't recall. Was it Tuesday or was it Monday that he came? I can't remember. I can't recall. I remember. Remember Pearl Harbor, very famous World War II item. Memory. Memory. My memory's slipping. I have a very good memory, or my memory's slipping, failing. So when you look up words like this, you'll see many, many ways up and down, in and out. Mind your teacher. Mind your teacher.
Mind your teacher.
Means pay attention to what the teacher's saying. Just don't run off, listen to the teacher, or mind your parents, or something like that. So there's many different ways for words like this to pop up in sentences. Any questions about those words?
What is the ramen?
What is the big bird?
Big, big bird. The raven. from the 19th century, 1850s, 40s, something like that. And this is one of his, if not the most famous poem, The Raven. A bird, it's a large bird, usually associated with not good things. The bird of death, the raven. But if you get a chance, read the poem, you'll find it's quite a good poem. Memory, remember, recall, remind, memorize. Please memorize this and give it back tomorrow in class for 30 minutes.
Remind.
Remind me to let you know that when it's time. I can't recall, but I do remember. And my memory is failing. Any questions? Yes.
Could you explain actual meaning about recognize?
Recognize.
Yes, please. Recognize remembrance.
Recognize. What is recognize?
Remember. Remember. Remember.
Cannot remember? Well, not exactly.
Many people know public understand. It's like university, some school.
Well, it would be like walking through the airport in San Francisco. You're walking through the airport in San Francisco, and you look over at one of the departure gates, and you look at the passengers sitting there, and one of them is me. I recognize you. I recognize you.
Oh, remember.
You're
Remember.
the teacher from Bangkok. Don't you remember me? I was one of your students. Oh yes, I recognize you now. The basic meaning is to see and know. Oh, wait a minute. I recognize you. You're the student that was in the class. Oh, how are you? Let's have a cup of coffee. I saw him. He said, like, cool, coffee. Don't you remember? I taught you that word. Oh, right. Coffee. Oh, okay. But to recognize is to see and know who that person is. Or you can recognize other things. You can recognize if you walk into a room and your suitcase is sitting in the corner along with 10 other suitcases, you say, oh, I recognize that's mine. You picked it out of all the, if you're at the airport and the suitcases are coming around on the circular thing, oh, there's mine right there. I recognize that bag. To pick out, be able to identify is to recognize. There's many other side meanings to it as well. I recognize that you can now speak. You can get up and speak now. I recognize that you can come up. A lot of different ways to use it. But the key is to see and identify. I see something. I see you. I see a book on the table. I recognize that book. That's my book. Or I recognize you. To see and know
To
something.
see something cannot see.
I don't recognize you. Have we met? I'm sorry. Have we met before? I don't recognize you. I don't remember seeing you before. I don't recognize you. I would like to recognize the speaker. Mr. Smith will now speak. I recognize the speaker, Mr. Smith. He's going to make a presentation right now. Stuff like that. I recognize But the primary meaning is to see and recognize, something like that. To see and to know something.
See something. To see something and forgot. Not forgot.
Not forgotten. I would now recognize the speaker, so that means that you can come up and make the presentation. Please, I recognize Mr. Smith as the speaker. But the key is to see and know.
See and know.
See and know.
Thank you, teacher.
Recognize.
Any other questions along those lines? Memory, remember, recall, remind and memorize, recognize the poem, The Raven. Recite the poem, please state the poem. Okay.
See and know. See and know.
Okay, here's some words that we run into every day. Okay, there we go. Clock.
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 Watch.
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 I'm hearing wash. Wash, like wash the clothes. No, watch.
Watch.
What, like what? W-H-A-T. Watch.
Watch.
Alarm clock.
Alarm clock.
Digital clock.
Digital clock.
Watch band.
Watch band.
Watch band.
Watch band.
What is a watch band? Watch the music. Watch the
cycle.
no.
It's like cycle.
No, not watch the music. Watch the band play the music? No. Watch band, one word. Yeah, the band of your watch.
Oh.
You have a watch,
Oh.
but it's held onto your wrist
Band.
by a band. You could have a rubber band,
Rubber band.
just a rubber band.
In Thai we say Sai Nalika.
There you go.
Yeah, Sai Nalika.
It could be watch band is the band of leather.
And lift band. Lift band. Lift band. Lift
How do
band.
you spell live?
We say rubber band. Rubber band.
Rich man.
Lift
Rich man.
Oh, wrist.
band.
Wrist.
I forgot the spelling. Wristband.
Common.
Yeah, a wristband. It could be a watch band. A wristband could be other things being held on your wrist by a band. A watch band, you know it's a watch. But wrist is like spelled, the W is almost silent, as it would be R-I-S-T, wrist. Wrist, W-R-I-S-T, is your wrist.
Which part of body?
Oh, okay. Right. Wristband. Watch band.
Watch band. Wristband.
Wristband.
We say rubber band.
A rubber band. A band, a circular item usually.
We like music band.
Right. Watch.
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 Well, it could be a watch. We were talking about a watch band. Or to watch is to look at something. I'm watching the TV. I'm watching the movie. I'm watching you. Watch, to look at. But in the terms of clocks and things, we're talking about a watch, a wrist watch.
A watch.
A clock,
Clock.
a clock.
Clock.
A device for telling time. The clock
Clock.
on the wall.
On the wall.
The clock on the wall. The clock on your desk, if you have one. Could be one of many different designs or whatever. Watch, clock,
Clock.
alarm clock.
Alarm clock.
What is an alarm clock?
Clock to alarm you.
For you
Alarm.
wake up.
Wake up,
For
wake up.
What does an alarm clock do
you
that causes you to
and
wake up?
it has the word for your the time. This,
You set the time and then what happens?
the time.
Second time that you want the ground noise to you to do something such as makeup.
Wake up, notice. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, an alarm clock is a clock that you can set a time that an alarm, so to speak, it's really not an alarm. It's a little ding, 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 ding. But it's enough to, ooh, 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 enough to say it's time to get up. I gotta get ready, I gotta go. An alarm clock. Please set the alarm clock for 6 o'clock. Alarm clock. A digital clock.
This about that
The high
They show
technology,
only number.
high technology, the digital clock.
Digital is number. They show
Just a
only
number,
Yes.
yeah, like 8, 10 or something, and then a minute goes by, and then it's 8, 11, 8, 12, 8, boom, 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 boom. A digital clock as opposed to
ไอ้นาฬิกา
a
ผู้สูง
circular.
ใหญ่ๆเรียกว่าอะไรลืมไปละ
It's, we say tower clock. It's we have the building and the clock.
Oh, a tower clock, yeah, something
We
like,
say hall นาฬิกา
มีแต่
หอ
ว่า
นาฬิกา
you have a tower clock that you could see from several blocks away.
อยู่
You're
ตาม
looking
ร้าน
up,
ทอง
oh,
อะ
oh, there.
อา
Ooh.
จารย์ร้านทองที่เขาให้อะเขาเรียกอะไร
นั่นแหละ tower clock ที่เป็นตั้ง
In city squares, you know, years and years ago,
Yeah.
in city squares, they would build the tower
Yeah.
and the clock would be up there so that if you were at the far end, you could still see the time.
Yeah.
Most of the towers of the, let's say, 1800s, early 1900s had a big clock at the top. So you have a clock, a watch, an alarm clock, a digital clock, and the watch band on your wrist,
Rich.
wrist,
List.
Rich.
List.
wrist.
List.
Not rich,
List.
not my rich, my wrist. Wrist, wrist, wrist. It's almost like R-I-S-T, wrist.
List.
The W is silent. So it's my wrist
Voice.
band, or I hurt my wrist. Not a rich band, but a wrist band. Any questions, other questions about the words? Okay. All right.
Tower clock. Tower.
Okay, here's a few words that are fairly close, and the opposite meaning of some of them. Able,
Able.
able,
Able.
unable,
Unable.
unable,
Unable.
capable,
Capable.
capable,
Capable.
capable,
Capable.
not capable, cape,
Capable.
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 It's almost like K-A, cape, bull. Capable,
Capable.
incapable,
Incapable.
incapable,
Incapable.
disable,
Disable.
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 Yeah, capable, cape.
Capable.
Yeah, not, it looks like it could be capable, cap, but it's cape.
Disable or disable. Disable or disable.
Disable,
Disable.
disable. He is disabled, able. What is able?
Can. Can. Can.
Able,
Able.
Able.
I can do it, I'm able to do it. Able,
Able.
able,
Able.
unable,
Unable.
Unable.
Cannot. Cannot.
cannot do it, I'm sorry, I'm unable to help you. Are you able to help me? No, I'm sorry, I'm unable to help you. Check with the inquiry desk. Or I'm unable, please go to the main desk. I'm unable to help you, that's not my expertise. Able, can do.
Can do.
Unable, sorry, unable to help you. Can't do it, just not my thing. Capable,
Capable.
capable,
Capable.
what is capable?
Capable.
Capable, again, able to do a certain thing. He's capable of building a fence. He's capable, he's very capable. He's able to do what you're asking him to do. He's very capable in that regard. He's able to do it. Able, capable. Incapable.
The opposite. The opposite capable.
Right. Very good. The opposite of capable. Incapable, can't do it.
Cannot do.
Capable, he's incapable of that type of work. He's unable
No
to do
skill.
it. Doesn't have that skill. Hasn't the skill. He's incapable of performing that type of work. He's very capable physician or a very capable surgeon. He can do the surgery, no problem. Or you could be incapable and not able to perform any type of surgery. Incapable, unable.
Incapable.
To disable. To disable.
Disable. Cannot walk.
Cannot.
Well, to make something unable to be done. Disable. You can disable the TV by going to the back of it and taking out certain wires and things like that, and you've disabled the TV. A person can be disabled. In other words, physically something wrong. A leg, paralyzed leg, or some physical problem that doesn't allow the person to function normally. Like if you go onto certain subways or trains, there'll be seats for the disabled. People that are on crutches or crippled in some way, that they're not functioning as a normal person. They are in some way disabled. Could be a leg problem, it could be a back problem, it could be one of 100 things. They are disabled. So please allow for disabled people to have a seat. as a,
Disabled first.
disabled people.
Yeah.
So you can be able to do it or unable to do it. I'm sorry, I'm unable to attend. I have a prior appointment.
Cannot do it.
I can't make it. I'm unable to attend the meeting. Ooh, okay. Will you be able to attend the meeting this afternoon? What, 2 o'clock? Oh, sorry, unable. Have an appointment across town. I won't be back in time for the meeting. I'm unable to attend. Capable. He's a very capable teacher. Very capable. Knows what he's talking about. Or he can be, on the other hand, incapable. Unable to teach the class. And to be disabled.
Disabled.
Have a physical problem that causes you to be restricted in what you can do. He is disabled. Capable. Capable.
Capable. Capable.
Any questions about those words? Okay. Alrighty. Okay, story,
Story.
story,
Story.
tale,
Tale.
tale,
Tale.
novel,
Novel.
novel,
Novel.
fiction,
Fiction.
fiction,
Fiction.
nonfiction,
Non-fiction.
nonfiction.
Non-fiction.
What is fiction? Fiction,
Fiction. Something fake. Something not true.
something not
True.
true.
Yeah.
Well, a fiction would be something that was made up,
Made up.
a story
Story.
that someone made up in his head about,
Make
let's
up
say,
something
writing
not
a
real.
story, a fiction book, maybe a detective story that wasn't really true. I mean, you read it, it sounds like it could be true, but it's not a true story. It's a fictional
The
story
lie story.
made up,
Make up.
like a detective story, like Sherlock Holmes or something like that, where it was a written story, a written fiction, not true, but a very interesting story nonetheless. The stories of Sherlock Holmes are fiction, made up. What is nonfiction?
Non-fiction. Opposites.
Opposite of fiction,
It's
yeah.
true. It's true.
It's a true story. It's nonfiction. It's a story, let's say, of the history of Thailand. Nonfiction. A true accounting of the history of Thailand. Nonfiction. You can write a nonfiction book about something that happened 500 years ago, as long as it, in fact, did happen, and you're telling the true story, as far as you know. The history of a famous battle, maybe, of 200 years ago, or 500 years ago, a famous war, the life of a famous individual, the true story. It could be a